As you can see here, I've started cutting out the MDF for the roulette table. Put a piece of plywood underneath. I'm going to use that as the outside edge. You can see the measurements there. Just in the beginning stages, I will get the rest done here in a little bit. The rail is probably going to be the hardest part because the rail will not go all the way around. It will stop there so the dealer has space, and on that side it'll stop right there because you don't need rail over where the wheel is. The materials, there's some of the foam right there, the felt, more foam, some cup holders, big roll of vinyl, and a box of 1/4 inch dense whatever foam. Can't remember what it's called, Velora or something like that. But I will see you right after this cut. Now you can see I have built 2 pieces. One of these pieces hangs off the edge of the table. It's upside down right now. This piece here will be underneath this, which will keep it where we want on the table. I will have to put some bolts in every few places, recess the bolts. That will allow me to secure the rail to the table and take it off if I needed to, but it allows you to secure the rail pretty easily, just some washers and some bolts. But I gotta glue these 2 pieces together, drill some bolt holes, and I will show you that here in a second. Alright, as you can see, the rail is screwed together and glued together. Got some clamps on it and some vice grips because I don't have that many clamps. I don't do a lot of woodworking. It's not attached to the table. It's just hovering there over the edge. It actually gets flipped over the other way around. If you can tell, I made a mistake of doing it backwards the first time. You can see the glue. Yeah, I put it on backwards. I set it on the table the way it's supposed to go. I didn't think about that this lip is what goes on the bottom side to hold it against the table. So wait for that to dry. Once that's dry, I will trim the edges off, round that one off like that one is actually the bigger piece is rounded. Do the same over here, and then probably router the edges with some router bits. Router the edges smooth or rounded. I'm not a fucking woodworker, so whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna put a 1/4 round on it or whatever type of round that shit is called. But that's what I'll do to the edges. One, so there's no hard spots when you put your arms down on the pad that you have to worry about shanking you, and 2, it just be easier to wrap in my opinion. So that's what I'll do to that. I will show you the next step after the cut. Alright, so the next part of the process is putting a base on the bottom. MDF can be kind of flexible. This 3/4 inch isn't particularly flexible, but just this little bit smaller size base for the bottom will give it a little bit of rigidity, and it also give me a little bit more to work with when putting on legs and having something to screw to. I still might have to add more to it for legs depending on the screws. But that's where we're at with that. I'm about to start wrapping the rails, which are here. Actually, I gotta router the rails first. They're done drying, so I will router those and then wrap them, put them on the table. Alright, we're on to the next step. The edges on this have been slightly routered, just where your arms would sit, your forearms. Got the foam cut to go on the rail. Bolts and stuff have been drilled. I need to put them in before I finish up. And then I'm going to staple over the outside. Staple over the outside, you know, get the outside of the vinyl on, then come in and cut the inside and then staple that. So as you can see, the table is done. My shop is a disaster. I haven't cleaned it up yet. It came out really good for my first time building a table. I also love this felt. The rail, not perfect. That's a learning process. I mean, it's comfortable. It doesn't move. It's bolted down with the bolts that I think I showed earlier. If I didn't, there's one at every end and in a corner. Couldn't get much threads on them. They were a little bit shorter than I thought they were going to be. So there's a couple threads, maybe halfway, which is enough. It will not be permanently on this table either. I gotta wait for legs, which I haven't figured out which legs I'm gonna use. Also had to add a strip of vinyl here. I don't love that it's like this, but I had to do it in both corners because doing the inside corner rips that vinyl, and I just don't know if it's my method, which it probably is, but not that good at it. This side you can see that some of the foam has popped out from where it's ripped doing that inside corner like that. And you can see a piece of duct tape. I guess I need to trim that back some. I did that so the vinyl doesn't split. You can see more foam right here. But other than that, it's good. It's a little tight, like I said, because the bolts were a little bit too short. These cup holders do not want to slide in everywhere without some force, and then they pop up some, which to me is kind of annoying, but I guess to others they won't really care. Over there they're fine. They don't, you know, this is one of the loosest spots here. Not sure why that happened, but they come in and out really easy on both sides. I mean, they're nice little snug fit, but that's how you want it to be. The felt is great. I got it from American Gaming Supply. It's beautiful looking. I mean, it almost doesn't look like it should be real, as bright as it is. But I'm very impressed with the felt. But this is the finished product, so if you have any questions, just ask me. I'm not an expert woodworker. First time I've made a table. Came out decent, I would say. So that's that. Appreciate you watching. Next time I gotta build me a blackjack table. Later.